Today I want to do a demonstration to show how to build out the sell-consume part of the Common Service Data Model. Just a quick review of the Common Service Data Model before we start. In the top we have the design. The design is where you're saying which capabilities does my organization need, and then you're deciding which applications do I buy to support those needed capabilities. Once you buy the applications, you hand it over to IT operations, and they manage all the technical services around bringing that business application to life. Once that application's alive, that's when you start squeezing the value out of it by creating services. Some of these services are provided to the business, and that's where it's in the sell-consume domain. Today we're going to look at a specific example of the CSDM, but only of the sell-consume domain. We want to keep it real simple. Our scenario today is we're going to start off where we have an onboarding service that's working really well, but it's only being used by one department, and there's 50 departments in the organization. We decide to share it with other departments. So we create in our catalog a subscription request. So they can come in and subscribe to the employee onboarding service, and they can use it for their department. We need to create that service that we're going to offer so that we have a structure around that offering and we can define it really well. What is in that offering, in other words. Now, after we build the offering, we're going to go ahead and say that Naomi comes in and she decides to subscribe to that new offering so that she can onboard her employees in her department. We're going to go past the point where we built it, and Naomi now subscribes her department to that offering. Now Naomi starts to use the offering in her department. As soon as she decides to subscribe to the service, we want to give her full visibility to all of the reporting on that service, from the point where it starts to plan to the point where it moves to build, and then when it moves into run, she can see all of the metrics like you see on the screen here. Very quickly, I want to look at this catalog, but it's not the main topic. This is just an onboarding form so that somebody can come in and go to talent management and choose new hire onboarding. At this point, Naomi can't come into here because she doesn't have access to new hire onboarding just yet. Naomi does have access to, she can go to talent management. She'll be able to order this, and then her subscription for her department will begin. Now we're going to create a new business service so that we can offer it to the business. Remember, this is in our sell and consume domain, just like we had in the catalogs. Remember, if we came up here, we had talent management, and then you could request a subscription to do employee onboarding for your department. So we're going to use that to create our business. We're going to name it talent management, just like the catalog. You don't have to, but for simplicity, I'm going to do that. Internal, it's a business service. The state and local regional government portfolio. And I'm going to put that talent management underneath our HR node. So we have state and local government, HR, talent management, and then underneath that, we're going to define our services. I cannot put this yet. I'm not going to be able to put this in catalog and operational. When we attach our item later, it's going to be required. So in order to put that catalog item onto an offering, you need to have the parent in catalog in the lifecycle stage. Describe the service, management of employee talent. I'll just say department talent. That's what this whole service is going to be around. The business case, if you do have business capabilities defined, it'll let you attach them here. And then I'm going to say somewhat critical. And the business need is going to be manage my department's talent. Now we want to describe the team. I am the owner of the service. I'm the one building it. I can also define a delegate. So if I want somebody to come in here and be able to change this business service, not the entire CSDM, but the business service itself, I can go ahead and define Elmer as my delegate. I also want a delivery manager. The delivery manager is the person, usually somebody technical, that's going to be able to deliver that for me. And the business relationship manager is going to be the person that's helping me with the requirements. So I can select a BRM in here as well. Additionally, be a business contact. And in this wizard, it's really well described what the intention was for these people. Anyone who contributes business requirements to the service. So this might be maybe my manager because I'm the owner. Maybe my leader is the one that could be a business contact for this. Maybe a vendor as well. Other stakeholders can be added. And again, the stakeholders, you can always add or remove the stakeholders later. This is people that have a business interest in our talent management service. After that, we're going to go into performance. Because I selected the portfolio, this inherited the portfolio performance. And we're going to leave that for now. But also I can go into service-specific KPIs as well. So if you want to put something specific just for this one service within that portfolio, I can add other things that we're measuring. Now we go into offerings. As part of talent management, what do I want to offer? We're offering somebody could subscribe to employee onboarding. Our offering is going to be employee onboarding. And who do we want to offer this to? We want to offer this to internal people. We don't want to make this available to customers. The business criticality of this, I'll say it's somewhat critical. The lifecycle stage, I'm going to put this right now into catalog, and I'm going to go to operational. And again, the only reason that I'm doing this is so that I'll be able to attach a specific catalog item to this. When we go into the team for the individual offering, we're going to say, okay, who is the owned by, the delegate, which it inherits from the parent by default. But you can change this here at the offering level as well. Bill Calley is my delivery manager. And then who's supporting this if there's specific problems? Here I can go ahead and define a support group and a vendor as well. Okay, more stakeholders at this level. So these are very similar to the parent. So if you want to override the parent or add additional things at the offering level, you can go ahead and add those here. Let's talk about operations. So the operations is who is subscribing to this. So I can subscribe by group or department. In this case, when Naomi comes in and she goes to the catalog item, this is the field we're going to want to update. We're going to want to put Naomi's department in here. Managers in Naomi's departments are the ones that are going to be able to select that catalog item and say, here's a new employee for onboarding. Right? I could also make this specific to locations. So only people from certain locations can use this service. It's going to be department managers just for this use case. If we want to charge a fee for this, there's a fixed fee or a per unit fee. For every employee that is onboarding, we're going to charge back that department $1,000. So I'd be able to put that price in here so that we can charge back that organization. The offering performance is going to inherit that performance snapshot that comes down all the way from our portfolio. So the performance snapshot attached to the portfolio, we'll leave that for now. Again, if you wanted to add specific things that you're tracking for the service offering that's not inherited from this portfolio group, you can add those here. Okay, now on the details, I'm going to want to say this is catalog and operational. I could put a better description in there of what we're doing. And what I wanted to do here in operations is I wanted to make sure that I added that some commitments, right? So here's commitments that I can say it's going to be 99% available. I can add another commitment where like first call resolution. So a P2 resolution within an hour or a P2 response time within an hour, right? So I can do an availability commitment and a response time commitment. And this way that Naomi can see all that she's getting into by being able to look at those commitments. Now here is where I can attach a catalog item. It's a little bit tricky. It's employee onboarding, but we don't want to attach the employee onboarding catalog item. What we want to attach here is the catalog item that lets people subscribe to employee onboarding. In this case, we want to use the catalog item that's letting Naomi subscribe, which is this one, employee onboarding subscription, because it's tracking the amount of subscription. So that is a little bit hard for some people sometimes. They think we're going to actually track the item here where we're requesting it, but we're not. Now we can be dependent on other offerings here. Quick idea of how we go ahead and create that. Now again, we don't have any subscribers yet because Naomi didn't actually subscribe to this yet. That's the step we're going to take next. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and be able to save and close that offering. And again, we're in an offering within a service, right? The parent service is talent management, but we're defining the employee onboarding offering. I'm going to go ahead and define one more just so we have a second one in here. And I'm going to leave this one. I'm not going to put this one in, I'm going to say that's internal. And I'm just going to go ahead and save and close that one just so we have a second one. Okay, so now we know we created a service in that portfolio and I can go ahead and review and submit. And that's my whole service with my two offerings in it and all my teams defined. Now that I have my offerings defined and I have all of the basic details for my talent management service, I can go ahead and submit that so that we can commit it into the table. Now Naomi's logged in and she can come in and look for that service because it's all defined now. So all that she has to do is express the need for her department to use that employee onboarding service. So if we look for employee onboarding subscription, and that's the one she wants to use, however she came about it, she's able to order that now. And the idea here is there'd be a workflow that would determine which department Naomi belongs to, and then go ahead and subscribe her to that service. So now her managers and her department can go ahead and use that onboarding service themselves. At this point, we took a look at the onboarding that was working well. We took a quick look at that catalog item. After that, we went and we took a look at how we would be able to create a catalog offering in this case so that you can allow other departments to subscribe and use that service that we had working well. Then we went in and we built the service out so that we had the back-end model for that offering that we were describing. We then simulated Naomi coming in and subscribing to that new service offering, which was the employee onboard offering. And after that, we assumed that Naomi's department, which is the accounting and finance department, they were able to come in now and use that. So any manager in Naomi's department should now be able to go in and use that new higher onboarding catalog item. The last part we want to look at is visibility that Naomi, as a manager that's using one of these services, would have. Now, in order to take a look at that, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over and go into Digital Portfolio. So I'm going to go into one of my workspaces called Digital Portfolio Management. If you remember from our earlier demonstration, what we did is we went inside of an enterprise portfolio when we defined our new service and offering, and it was in state and local regional government. Under HR, we defined the service called talent management. So now with talent management, you'll see we do have some information coming in. Underneath talent management, we had new employee onboarding, which is the service that Naomi eventually wants to start using. If you go into new employee onboarding, I'm able to get some details on that. Naomi's a user, but Naomi doesn't know how to go into an enterprise portfolio. So what I want to do is I want to come up here into my personal portfolio. Instead of letting Naomi come in and then look at new employee onboarding, I want to be able to go here into personal portfolios. I'm going to define a new personal portfolio. So I just want to put Naomi's services in there. I want to put the service, which was talent management, but also the offering so that Naomi can get directly to either one. So first I'll put talent, and we should see a service come up because that's a business service that we defined called talent management. And then that's one that we'll want to add in, not under the business apps, but underneath services and offerings. I want to add that to our list of things in this portfolio. So I'll add those two in there. But now what I have is a personal portfolio. And the beauty of the personal portfolio is you don't have to dig through that directory structure. The directory structure is great if you need the roll-up, and it gives you all the scores all the way up to that enterprise directory for the CIO to see, but also down underneath for the HR director can now look at the entire portfolio from one spot. But in this case, Naomi just wants to see this one area. So I'm going to create this portfolio that I'm calling Naomi's Services. What I could do now is I could share this portfolio so she'll see this directly. She'll be able to go right into those two services, and we could add more on, of course, if she needs more. Right now what I do is I just go share Naomi, and I would put her on here, and I would send her the invite to share this board, and she can come right on here and see these service offerings and services that we have. When we go into the individual employee onboarding offering, right now there's no ideas or demands, so there's nothing in the plan. We should have information in the info because the info is going to have all that description that we provided early on. So we know it's in the personal portfolios. We didn't put a price on it. We know the offering has commitments. There's no contracts against it. There is one subscribed department. So that request did go through for Naomi. And if I click on the departments that are subscribed, I can see right now that there is one department, and it's accounting and finance that's subscribed to it. Let's take a look at how we can start adding things in, because the info is very useful. I can see all of the people involved in the service, so the team members. I can see the different teams that are also going to be supporting the service. I can start getting visibility into the catalog items that are associated with the service. In this case, it's that one subscription catalog item that should show up here. And also, I could start getting information about the planning, the building, and the run once the service hits production. Let's jump over to another screen, and I want to go into my favorites. I created a list of all the tasks that roll up to service offerings. What this task list is, if I go all the way down to that task table, I can filter on task types, and that's exactly what I did in this filter. So all the different task types that roll up, this isn't all of them because there's actually some security task types that'll roll up and attach themselves to that service offering as well. But any ideas and demands or epics and projects, all these different types of tasks can now be rolled together so that you can look at them in one place against the service. Run a query here so that we can show you a quick example. And I'm going to filter on short description, and I'm going to see what's in flight right now that has onboarding in it. You can see onboarding has some demands and epics and ideas, even one rhythm that came in. I'm going to take all of these offerings here. I'm going to make them a member of our service offering. And if you remember, our service itself for the offerings was talent management. These were all, then we'll go to new employee onboarding. That should update all of our offerings. If we go back into here and refresh the new employee onboarding in the plan phase, I should see some of those tasks that start to roll up into our reporting. Now what's nice again, as I shared this with Naomi, so when Naomi comes in here for the first time, she'll be able to again see that new employee onboarding. She'll be able to go ahead in her portfolio, of course. She'll be able to go ahead and click that to see information about how that's running, right? New employee onboarding. And now I start to get the ideas that came in, and I can click on the ideas and drill down. And she could read those ideas that came in from different people. One that says, I want to recreate onboarding for finance managers, and then a separate onboarding for accountants. Maybe they get different things, or there's a different process to those onboarding. We could also see any demands that are coming in. We'd also be able to get a roadmap on the demands to know when those demands are actually going to be put into action. On the build tab, we'd see any active projects. And when we start to run, also on here the epics will come up as well. And then we go into the run tab, it'll start bringing up the operational metrics as those come in. What's nice is this is going to get more and more data as we move into production in different places. Besides the teams and the owners and all the people that are working together to provide this service, I'll get other information as well. So a couple of the things on the run tab that we want to look at when I go into the actual offering is I'll start to get metrics. And one of the metrics, if I go back to these tasks and I look at that offering that was created, I just want to show you a couple things. One of the ones that I like to get started right away on a business service offering is I like to get started on surveys, because once that's live, you want to be able to ask the employees that are actually using that new employee onboarding service. You want to be able to ask anybody in that department that's subscribed how they like that service. You can see here that we have a CSAT frequency. I can say, shoot that off daily. It'll take a certain amount of people from that department and send them a survey. It won't send it every day. It'll send it to a small percentage of them that's set in your system parameters. It'll send that out so that they'll get spread out surveys over time that asks them how they like the new employee onboarding offering in the talent management parent. So that's a really nice one to get started on. The other one that I like to do is on the info tab. Besides the commitments, you'll be able to have information on what's in scope or out of scope, different contracts, right? You can add to that. So all of that information, you can come in and start building on this service. The nice part here is because I'm showing it to Naomi, I know the information that she wants because she's able to look and she's able to tell me it would be really nice if I had this. It might be, maybe they want costs on it, or maybe they want different owners on it. We don't have the owners right, or they want to add people to the team that's helping deliver the service. So all of that information is very useful as we go into the service and move it through that plan, build, and into the run phase. That's a quick look from end to end where we built a service and then we showed some of the metrics on that service to one of our business users and hopefully got a lot of value out of it along the way. We want Naomi to ask for more from us. It's a big deal when the business is coming to us asking us to share the services that we're providing. And we want to provide as much as we can, but we want to go a step beyond. If Naomi went out and got this service from an outside vendor, she would not get this type of reporting and all of the information about the whole pipeline as her service is being built and customized for her accounting and finance department. That's all I wanted to show today. Thanks very much for spending the time with me, and we'll talk to you on the next Digital Services Workgroup meeting. Thanks, everybody.